The gear, boys and their toys, right? The gear is getting out of control with this podcast. Let me put it this way. We have 57 or 58 episodes. Every episode you've come with one new piece of gear on average. So there's 58 pieces of gear now.
Slowly building a giant machine. Don't worry about the equipment. We'll get into the equipment later.
Yeah, the equipment is coming. I can tell.
Actually, the equipment is part of the whole thing for this episode.
Yeah. We'll get into it. There's some really big lights.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try and level us up to a new. Well, here's cameras. The thing. This isn't a solutions episode.
Okay.
It's a Scott's Great Idea show. I brought it. I heard there's only been one, and people were saying, "Where are Scott's great ideas?" And that's what people in my life say to me too. They go, "Where are Scott's? Where are
the great ideas?"
Well,
why are you bringing so few?
I have another one, so now I have a second Scott's Great Idea show.
Let's do it.
Scott's Great Idea Show. Scott's Great Idea Show.
All right. So what I brought today, you don't have to worry about a solution because I brought the solution.
God, I can relax.
I have a great idea.
Something tells me I'm not going to be able to relax during this episode.
No. It'll be good.
Tense.
So I was thinking there are a few problems in my life that kind of converged, and I found a solution to like 3 of them at the same time. The thing that I want to talk about, we've talked about a little bit before, is eating bugs.
Yep.
And what I mean is like insect protein, ingesting insects. And there are places where they're like trying to do this. And I was like, why would you do this? For me, it serves a couple of purposes. Okay. Because we've also been talking about how do we get people to like notice our podcast? How do we get people to like check us out or even stop and go like, oh, this exists. That's the thing. I think as soon as people like start listening, they're like, yeah, that's great. We like it. But the initial hurdle is for podcast is how do you let people know this exists? And so that's another problem I'm trying to solve. And we've been doing audio only. I'm an audio boy for sure.
Yeah.
But you've been asking about like, what about video? What about doing video things? And I found something that's going to motivate me to actually make that step into video. So this is sort of an audio podcast, but also the kickoff of
a little video
directing people over to like, hey, there's going to be some video content starting on the YouTube page,
strictly bug related.
Well, at the beginning, and then
David Attenborough will make an appearance.
And now these podcast hosts are going to eat this beautiful bug. He would hate us. We would just watch him describe some.
No, he'd love eating bugs. He'd love eating bugs because it's so good for the environment.
Well, yeah, that's what we're coming back to. So yeah, eating bugs. I found out. I'm like, why would you actually do this? Why do actual companies do this? They're not trying to get people to notice a podcast by doing something out of the ordinary. Yeah. But I was looking into it and like,
what do they do? Why are they doing it?
A big thing because like, well, one of the things that we talk about is climate change. We talk about like, greenhouse gas emissions and carbon footprints and all these things. And a lot of that comes from
yada.
A lot of that does come from our factory meat production, like having livestock.
Like 3%.
Is that it?
Yeah.
But it was like
cars are like 6, planes are like 7 or 8.
Well, I can't turn insects into cars. But what they were also saying is what happens is a lot of deforestation. I was reading about in Madagascar, deforestation happens because they need to make
soybeans
area or grazing area for like cattle.
Yeah.
And so they cut down these forests and then eventually you get the lack of ability to churn out greenhouse gases and fix the rising emissions situation.
Yeah.
So one of these guys I was looking, one of these guys is this guy named Brian Fisher from California Academy of Sciences. I'm actually going to contact him and see if, fingers crossed, he'd be interested in coming because he's here in San Francisco and he's one of the champions of this thing. But he started up a way to like start promoting insects in Madagascar, eating insects as a way to like take some strain off of the meat production and take some strain off of the deforestation,
right? Sort
of like an end run around, but also to have a great source of like protein. So the thing is, when you make bugs, it's like they're really...
We're talking about Bugs Bunny here now.
If you're
Killed
raising animals, like instead of raising pigs or cows,
with my magic helmet. He pulls up in Madagascar.
Actually,
it
have
looks
you-
like I took a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
Speaking of eating, have you eaten rabbit before?
Oh yes, I have a good story. When I lived in Spain as an exchange student
I remember
when I
those,
was
yes.
16 years old, and I saw the Euro launch. I was there the first day the Euro launched, January 1st, 2000.
The first person walks into a cafe and they're like, I would like to buy a baguette. And they're like, that is not real money, sir.
Look how colorful it is. It's
And they're
so
like, why are
blue
you
and
buying
green.
a baguette in Spain,
It
actually?
was huge. It caused huge inflation, actually, to launch the Euro. Actually, launching the Euro, seeing the Euro launch actually has instilled in me my belief that we could adopt a new currency. It's part of the reason I do the
Oh.
Numi, actually.
I see.
But when I first arrived in Spain, we had this little like orientation down in downtown Madrid, and we were staying in like, some kind of dormitory hotel type situation. But then we all got paired off to our host families, and I went out to my host family, and I walked in the house, and the host mom, Margarita Morataya, that was her name.
Wow.
2 last names that were the same.
I almost named my daughter the same thing.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Morataya.
Yeah.
So she was like, we're having conejo for lunch. And I was like, conejo? Like KS conejo, and she looked at me and she kind of squinted and she went, rabbit. Yeah, she didn't speak much English, but she knew
She had
rabbit. And so we ate rabbit. That was my first thing I ate at my host family's.
Interesting.
It was delicious.
I bet. Yeah.
It was kind of bony. I wasn't used to all the bones because Americans, we usually have our meat is pretty.
Pull it
Just-
off there and
it's
just kind of put
in
the
a
chunks.
bag. Yeah, it's just perfect.
We want it as far away from looking like
a real
what
animal.
it started out
Right,
as
right,
as
right.
possible. I get you.
Other cultures don't do that. They
No.
don't mind having the connective tissue and bones and stuff, organs.
I think I had rabbit because my grandpa, my father's father,
Mhm.
was a hunter and he would hunt rabbits.
Oh.
He would that was one of the things he would go hunting for in Missouri or whatever. And so we would eat stuff that he caught.
Cool.
And I was like, okay,
It was good.
yeah. I think coming back though, that not looking like what it is one of the things that keeps the idea of eating bugs from.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just saying it is
Yeah.
weird. It's weird. It's
Eating bugs.
there's like a mental block
Yeah.
where you're like, I can't eat insects, but why
Yeah.
not? Right? Like
Yeah.
if you eat other animals,
Right. I can't eat poultry.
right? But
Poultry
and they're like,
they're poultry. I can't eat poultry. Like, of course you can eat poultry.
well, we even changed the name. We call it poultry instead of chicken. Like as soon as it becomes meat,
yeah.
we're like, oh no, it's poultry. It's
is
not
that part
chicken.
of the solution? Should we come up with a
It's
word?
beef. It's not cow. It's pork. It's not.
Instead of pig, pork, beef, cow. They're kind of what's the like linguistic way could we come up with like a word for insects that you eat?
Call them.
We call
I don't know, right?
maybe because insects are so much like lobsters and shrimp.
They
We call those crustaceans or seafood. And we call them crustaceans, but when we eat them, we call it seafood.
We can call them cabinet shrimp because
Maybe we
they
should
hide
call
out in the corners of your cabinet.
Gross.
Oh, that's not. Wait, I'm not a good branding
That's so
person.
creepy.
Why don't you eat
let's
some
call
of
them Babadook teeth. That sounds good. Gross. No, what about?
this Slender Man toenails? You want some?
Oh God, delicious. I was thinking, we call it seafood. Why don't we call it land? Why do we call insects land food when you eat it? Well, that sounds like landfill, but
Crunch power.
yeah,
I am not.
yeah.
You should
I
not
like
put me in
crunch
the
power.
marketing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But I mean, that's the thing. Is it's they're gonna. I mean, like
There's already an abdominal workout company called Crunch Power. You're gonna get sued.
I'm gonna get cease and desist.
Welcome to Crunch Power.
They took our name. We're gonna go crunch those guys into the lawsuit.
They all show up with these like incredible like stacked abs, like 12 packs. Like, God.
When they go to court to sue someone, they actually have like suits that have a window cut out for their midsection so you could see their abs while they're making their arguments.
so intimidating.
They're like, the jury is like, I'm impressed by your argument and also your physique. That's very commendable, sir. But once you kill a deer, it becomes venison. I mean,
Venison.
every animal.
Yeah, we need it for insects.
The meat version has
so
a thing.
we need the insect version of this.
Wait, why isn't there one for people? Because people have gotten in trouble for eating people before. We were talking off mic.
Cannibalism. Isn't it just called cannibalism?
Well, that's the act
Yeah,
of it.
that's
But
the
what?
act of it. Maybe
what,
because
what
you're
do
not
humans,
supposed to eat people.
What do
Scott, I'm
humans
going to
become
propose
as soon as you?
a radical
No.
idea, which is that
No.
you shouldn't eat people.
You're about new ideas, not shutting down ideas.
I'm
What
shutting
talking-
this one down. This is where
All right.
I have to put
Well,
my foot down somewhere. Scott.
in the
And
meantime,
if it's
I'll
eating people. I
Pivot
think
back to eating bugs.
we got to not call it eating bugs, though. It should be. We should make up a new name right now for it.
Right now,
How about
that's so much
how
pressure.
about maybe it should be French? Maybe we could just take
What
like
is the French word
for bugs.
Yeah, well, it doesn't work. I know Japanese, but the word
No.
for bug in Japanese is
No.
mushi, which doesn't. It sounds
definitely
mushy.
doesn't work in
Yeah.
German either.
What's
It's
German?
a bad word in German.
Oh, really?
Mushi is a bad word in
Oh,
German.
well, what's
Yeah.
bug in German? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head. I have to think about it
Well,
or look at a dictionary.
here's the thing. This is going to be particularly. I am not looking forward
Yeah.
to this thing because I am theoretically okay with the idea of eating bugs.
Yeah.
I was a picky eater until way late in life.
Yeah.
Like the age I had of first avocado was like 25. The age I had my first Mexican food was like 26. I didn't eat
Yeah.
mushrooms. I didn't eat like so many
You're
things.
a Kansas boy.
I didn't eat right. I
Steaks,
grew up
burgers,
eating
pizza,
a very limited
Pasta with
menu.
butter and pepper on
And
it.
so eating weird things has never been like a joy of mine.
Yep.
It sometimes happens that you're like, but
I'm the other way around.
You-
I always ate weird stuff for
Right.
fun, and
Well-
always did when I was my family's favorite restaurant in Madison was a Vietnamese restaurant. We'd go to it all the time.
okay.
It
What's weird
caused-
there?
It caused volcanic lava diarrhea. I don't know why we went there.
Did they put that on the door? So is that a
I don't know why we went
selling
there.
point?
We went there so much. It was called Vien Ten Palace. I don't think it's there anymore. It was a converted gas station into Vietnamese restaurant in the downtown of Madison, right in the downtown, right on the isthmus. And we would go there. It was Laotian and Vietnamese, so it was kind of that area. And we would sit down and we would order. It had pretty good pad thai. That was actually really good pad thai. And then we would order all kinds of things, curries and stuff. And then you just come home, and then the next day you would just be like burning ring of fire diarrhea. And we did it like once a month at least. We'd go to this restaurant. I don't know why.
Like everybody in the house, was it like a discussion point? You would be
It was like, let's go to Vien 10.
when you get back,
Let's
you're
go.
like, everyone, has it
Yeah.
hit yet? And you're like, yeah, okay.
And then when
we'll
I
take
lived-
shifts on the toilet.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, it would be like then when I lived in Thailand, I would actually go to Vien 10 all the time. And I was like, I used to go to the palace here. Vien 10's like right on the border of Laos and Thailand. And it was where I would do visa runs.
Oh.
So I would get on the bus in Bangkok and it would bus you all the way to Vien 10. And then you would walk across the border.
Right.
You'd stay. I think it was a fast border run. So you just go across. Actually, no, it was the slow border run.
Mm-hmm.
The fast border run was to Cambodia. The slow border run was you actually had to stay overnight. So you'd cross the border, you'd give your passport, you'd stay overnight one night, usually just party the whole night in Vien 10. It was really fun. And then you kind of wake up if you slept at all, and then you go and you collect your passport, get on the bus, and bus back to Bangkok.
So I am familiar with this because I lived abroad as well. But explain to our listeners why someone would do this. Why would you do a visa run?
A visa run is, well, usually it means that you're living in a country based on like a tourist visa.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably breaking, you're probably working and stuff.
If you're working, you're breaking it, but
you're
you're doing
breaking-
it kind of under the table.
Yeah. And then you
Tourist
can't-
visas are
yeah.
like 3 to 6 months,
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
a year.
Right, for an American.
Right.
Yeah. So then if you get to the end of that visa, you don't want to overstay because they're going to force you to pay them a lot of money,
Right.
like a bribe basically to
Right.
get like out of the country, or if they catch you. So you just do these things called visa runs. You pay like $50 and you take it and you jump on a bus and you go to across the border into the country and back in, and then it restamps your passport. So I have like a passport that has like 8 Thai, tourist visas in it because I just kept doing that.
So my version in Japan was a little different because Japan's an island nation, so you can't just drive across. But where I first was in Kyushu, the version was the ferry to Busan, Korea, which is a 4-hour ferry trip each way. And so you just go
Only 4
have a
hours.
night in Busan,
That's awesome.
get your visa, and then come back.
So you
and
didn't
then
take the
do that thing.
train to Busan?
You could not. That's good Foley work. No, but that is an excellent movie. I like zombie movies.
That's a
Korean
really good
zombie
movie.
movies. That's
and
fun.
it's such a great political commentary on modern Korean culture.
I don't even remember the political commentary.
Are you kidding, dude?
I just remember the scary zombie parts.
Oh no, it's really political. It's like a critique of like the corporate sort of like yes man, like everyone working themselves to death to support like Samsung and like major corporations.
Well, hey, I'm way off base. I'm here.
Oh yeah. Bugs.
What happened was we've also been looking for behind the scenes. I've been looking for ways to market and do different experiments to try and like see what works as far as
experiments or experiments. Which camp are you in?
I
don't know.
What's the difference?
Just different tomato.
Wait, say those two words again.
Experiment or experiment?
The first one.
Experiment, like spearmint gum, of course.
What? Who says the second one?
You say experiment like a gum? I like experiment. We're in different camps on this one.
How did you
experiment? Let's do an experiment. I don't say let's do experiment like experiment gum.
Yeah.
No, I don't say that. What about pop? What about pop and soda? Do you say pop or soda?
First of all,
what do you say?
only say soda.
Me too. See, Midwest is the best.
Some people say soda pop, and I'm like, you need to get back in your time machine.
Right. Go back to 1950.
Exactly. Like, what are you?
I already shared that the secret ingredient for Coca-Cola.
You said prunes.
Irish breakfast
tea.
tea.
Yes.
Yeah, coppery breakfast tea. Just want to get that out there. I want to ruin Coca-Cola's lives. I figured you out, man. I figured you out.
They're like, get that guy.
That's my
the train from
zombie. Yeah, the train from zombies back.
The one Foley effect. Now they don't know. Now our listeners won't know if we actually get attacked by real zombies or if it's just you goofing around on mic. Although I guess technically if we got attacked by zombies, this isn't live. So if it makes it out to a listener, you would assume
it's already the zombie apocalypse.
Unless we're attacked by a zombie podcast producer who attacks us, kills us, and then takes the audio and like processes it and then edits it and uploads it.
Just like sitting there at his computer.
Adobe Audition.
Adobe.
Exporting this WAV file.
Oh, Adobe. I hate Adobe. I'll just throw out there, no one should use Adobe products ever, and no one should use Photoshop products ever. Just never use any of those. Well, just refuse to use
I'll throw out there that this podcast uses Adobe products every episode.
We should not use them. We should just abandon all. Adobe should be boycotted. We should just stop using because it's bad software.
Well,
it's slow. It's needlessly huge files.
Yeah.
It's hard to use.
Yeah.
It's complicated for no reason. You could design it to be much easier to use.
I mean, a harpsichord is hard to use and complicated too, but that is not a harpsichord noise. Have you ever heard of
a harpsichord? I'm Scott. The original harpsichord had like a cat or a bird's claw that plucked the string. So it was like a bunch of like creepy claws plucking the strings, and the strings were catgut.
Was it
so
made
it was
by?
Like it was like some psychopath made it.
Was it invented by Dr. Moreau? Who's making this crazy?
I will string the catgut, then I will use the claws of the bird.
I evolved a cat that has 45 claws so that I can create a harpsichord with fewer cat kills.
And then more cat kills. And then the keys were ivory from elephant tusks. This is like a thing of terror.
It's a dead animal.
It's a nightmare.
Instrument.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
As you listen to the dulcet sounds of many animal carcasses. But of course,
are we canceling Bach right now?
Hold on.
What we're doing?
After you kill an elephant for the ivory,
the
meat has to be called something else, right? It can't be elephant anymore. As soon as it dies,
Oliphant.
Oh, no. That is not Timothy Oliphant.
Well, I was just thinking actually Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings had the Oliphants.
Who's that? What is that?
What is Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, what is Lord of the Rings?
Scott, were you hit on the head?
Huh? What is this?
Hit hard by a
giant what are the Oliphants in Lord of the Rings?
Do I have to explain?
I didn't read these
deep
books.
Lord of the Rings
or the
lore
one
to
book,
you.
As people
I didn't just read these books. I would go every year when I lived in Wisconsin to a live action role playing reenactment of the Lord of the Rings. This is the level of my depth.
Okay, hold on a second.
My depravity.
Just one point of order. In order for it to be a reenactment,
it was like a LARPing.
Doesn't it have to have happened in that? Like, you can do a Civil War reenactment because the Civil War actually happened, but a Lord of the Rings, it's an act.
It was a live action.
It's just
game.
a regular actment.
Well, it was a live action game. Sometimes evil would win. Sometimes good would win.
Oh, you went off
Sometimes
script?
They would destroy. Yeah. Sometimes the hobbits would like
Tolkien's,
crawl through the woods and destroy the ring. Sometimes evil would catch a hobbit in the first 2 hours and be like, "We got the ring. We win." Evil
was there
wins.
ever one where Sauron is like, "You know what? I'll be nice now. I think maybe
Sauron,
what about like peace?"
No, you weren't allowed to switch sides. You were either evil or good. But I think Sauron did start out neutral, and then something had to happen in the game to then make Sauron come in as evil. And so if that
probably
didn't happen,
someone made fun of him.
Yeah,
it's like hey, look at that big old eye.
Sucks.
Look at that big stupid eye. Right? He's like,
No,
what?
That's Sauron.
What?
Sauron has the big eye.
That's what I'm talking about.
Saruman. Oh, I thought you meant Sauron. Sorry.
No, I said the right word.
You said the right. I understood the wrong
word.
Yeah,
bro, have you ever Lord of the Rings? Do you even Lord of the Rings?
Do you even Lord of the Rings,
Whoa, bro.
Do you even Lord of the Rings? Do you even LARP of the Rings? That's what we should have called it, LARP of the Rings. It was pretty fun. We were the Corsairs.
What's that mean?
It's another word for pirate. But we never were allowed to. If people called us pirates, we were really mad. We were like, "We're the Corsairs," and
then people would say, "What's that?" You go, it's pirates.
It's pirates. It's just
don't call us that.
This was pre Pirates of the Caribbean, so this was like hipster pirate. This was pirate before
people
it was cool
didn't even know about pirates.
Yeah, exactly.
Back then,
they didn't have any clue. So we were the Corsairs. The Corsairs are one line in the whole set of books. There was like 20 of us, but there was more pirates than there were like dark elves. It was hilarious because my whole fencing club went as the pirates.
That's the pirates,
and so it was a lot of fencers.
But the dark elf club didn't show up.
The dark elves were hardcore though. They like put straight up like basically blackface on.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Are we allowed to say that? I don't think
we
we're
can
allowed
say
to,
it. You just can't do it. You can
say
say the word blackface.
Whoa, Adam, why are you putting blackface on right now?
No, this is an audio medium. You can't prove anything.
Oh my gosh,
you
Adam,
can't prove anything.
It's 2023. That is
I was
not
never
cool.
a dark elf. Although, yeah, if you took pictures of them and now you showed it, it'd be like...
All right, back up. You had a fencing class, I'm sorry?
Not class, club.
Club?
Durandal. Durandal was the name of my fencing. I fenced for over 10 years.
Is this like Fight Club where
All
at the end we zoom out and you're fencing against yourself? It's just... You're holding two swords. Cling, cling, clang, clang. Clanging them together. And people are like, what are you doing? You're like, fencing club. All right. So wait, I tried some stuff. We've done some things. We've done some, both of us have guested on other podcasts a little bit. We've done some.
This is to grow the podcast.
To grow the podcast. To kind of like that thing, to get people to know that we exist, right?
Yes. Awareness, so it's called in marketing.
We've guested on other shows and that's done okay. And we've,
not really, but
it hasn't had a huge effect, but the other shows are about the same size as we are, and that's
but
how
it feeds our egos, so that's good.
And it's also fun to meet people and get
it's really
network.
No, it's really fun. If anyone listening is like wants to,
gosh.
Why? No, you got this is great. If anybody wants us to be on their podcast, we will come. I'm actually right now about to be on a podcast in October.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah, it's going to be about AI, machine learning stuff. It's an ethics podcast.
Okay.
And,
that'll be cool. We'll
it's gonna be cool.
We'll shout it out when it's out.
Yeah, it's called I think it's called Machine Intelligence Podcast. Anyways, I'll be on it and we'll talk about it more.
We tried running an ad in Buzzsprout where we paid for an ad, and that actually did okay.
Yeah,
I think we picked up some listeners from it, and I think that was good, but it's not as cost effective as what I'm imagining, which is
bugs.
Maybe doing a spectacle type of thing, like a weird thing, and being like, let's do bugs. And if I came up with this idea, eating bugs, right?
Yeah.
When I had that, I was like, oh, well, people hate chewing on microphone. People don't like, and there's no like joy out of just being like, I'm eating a thing.
But people love
wow,
hot
it
wings.
really is a thing. But people like the
hot
hot
wings
ones.
Game.
Watching people
I just watched that today.
People like Fear Factor.
I watched Charlie Kelly do his. It was good. Fear Factor. Yep. Worms
people watch
and
that.
Bugs and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I'm like, what a great convergence of talking about the idea of bugs as a more sustainable protein source,
right?
Whatever. Also, though, a spectacle thing that can get people interested enough to go see our faces on YouTube and see what we're doing. And also the people that find us on YouTube, throwing them back over here to the podcast.
Right,
that's the perfect version of the idea in my head.
Right.
How it will work, I don't know, but I'm going to have fun doing it.
Yeah, we can report back.
Exactly. So that's pretty much all I have here.
Great.
I was gonna maybe say what I'll do now is we'll wrap up this.
Okay.
And we'll switch to maybe a few minutes of a bug episode where I have a game plan.
Yes.
Where we're gonna. I've tried to gamify it probably too much. I've been overthinking this for a long time, but I'm gonna have a game where
you, Scott?
Yeah. No kidding. Really? Where we're gonna play a game and we're gonna eat some weird things, including bugs and other weird things.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna make it a little bit fun. And every basically we're gonna do the YouTube episode. They'll be short. Whenever we get a bug, we'll eat the bug, and that'll be the end of the show.
And I have no pre-knowledge of any of this, so it's all going to just come at me.
I'll give you a little bit of pre-knowledge. One of the things that piqued my interest in this was when I was bringing out, I was like, yeah, some of them will be like bugs that might be hard to eat,
Right.
and some will be easy to eat, like Skittles. And you were like, ugh, Skittles? That's going to be disgusting.
I don't like sugar.
And I was like, wait,
Skittles.
what?
You
You're
can't
like,
make me eat Skittles.
Skittles are
I
gonna be
won't eat
disgusting.
Skittles. I won't eat Skittles.
They might be on the
It
thing.
breaks my diet. I can't eat Skittles.
What diet?
Just my a healthy diet that I eat.
You couldn't eat like 2 Skittles?
I mean, I can, but blech. It'll ruin
See,
my whole day.
Oh boy.
I'm
well,
like that guy in Parks and Rec who's like, I'm a microchip. I'm a microchip.
Because-
1 grain of sand falls into that microchip.
I was
and
like,
I die. You
oh,
know?
this might be a problem.
Oh,
then.
no.
We might have to talk about this.
Dog,
Because,
you can't house me with a bunch of sugar. It
well, no,
doesn't
not a
work.
bunch, just a tiny amount.
Okay, a tiny amount. Maybe
But
I can do that.
I was like, oh, Skittles are like the easy thing. That
I
are
did
gonna
have
be
a
on
sweet
the
thing the
wheel.
other day.
What'd you have?
Malt soda.
That's
so freaking good.
So weird.
But it's delicious. Have you had it?
No.
I have some. You can have one.
What?
You should. We can split one. I don't want you to have the whole thing. It's delicious. You can only buy it. The only place I know in San Francisco to buy it is the authentic German import store, like 1 block from my house.
Okay.
And it's $2.40 a can. It's
Ooh.
so expensive.
Okay.
But I occasionally I buy one, and I had one the other day. Although malt, not fructose.
No.
Malt is not fructose. Malt is a
Different
glucose
situation of sugar?
Yeah. And so you don't get the negative
You're gonna be-
effects of fructose.
You're going to be so mad at some of the things in this game.
Oh my God. You can't.
There are some really disgusting things. So
Okay.
listen to at least, maybe it'll be a struggle and Adam will eventually tap out and say,
I might
no,
tap
run,
out.
and run away.
I might be like,
I might have to
yeah,
eat all the gross things myself. But
I'll eat the bugs though.
okay. So I'll
Okay.
wrap up here.
Okay.
We'll set up some stuff. We'll do a little bit of video thing. And my plan was to kind of do short episodes like this, maybe at the end of when we record
Okay.
normal audio episodes, and
And
we can
bug
talk
it up.
about the episode that we just recorded.
Okay.
So for this one, we'll talk about the bugs. But
okay. Great.
for when we have your episode, and then we go, okay, and we'll just do a little bit of
we'll
eating
eat the
bugs
bug.
at the end. We'll talk. We'll be like, hey,
We'll
we
talk
just
a little
recorded
more
it.
about-
Yeah, exactly.
oh, and then it kind of points you back to it.
That's the
Oh
that's my
God.
that's my alpha level brain.
Scoville.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right. But thank you guys for joining
Put
us.
hot sauce on the bugs.
I'll
Do
put hot sauce on
bugs.
the butt. Actually,
Not hot butts. but hot
spicy,
bugs.
spicy stuff is my
Spicy
weakness.
butts.
There are some bugs that are going to be a problem for me because I'm worried about the spice. But
Bugs
we
have
will see.
spice?
I'm s-
Spice
I
bugs?
got a lot of things going on.
Oh my God.
All right. So tune in over to the YouTube channel. It's it's not
Solutions
perfect
from
show.
the multiverse.
Solutions from the Multiverse. YouTube.com/solutions from the multiverse.
We'll put it in the show notes.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Catch you later
Bye.
next time. Bye.
Scott's Great Idea Show. Scott's Great Idea Show.
What kind of world do we live in?
Well, there are no videos of us eating bugs. That's
Okay,
the
yeah,
selling
But
point.
there aren't videos. But there
People
are tons
love-
of videos of other people eating bugs.
Adam, people
so why
love
would we
us.
be competitively?
People want to see
they just
us
we're
in
the-
discomfort. They want to see what we look like
I won't be discomforted
when we are.
I like bugs.
You don't-
Skittles will make me.
I was going to say,
discomforted, yeah.
I've made sure there's stuff in this game that will make you discomfortable. Wait, that's not a word.
But it
Will
is
make you
now.
discomfortable? How would you say that? Make you uncomfortable?
That's right.
All right, fine.